Well, welcome back to the Celtics Talk Weekly post-game show. I am your host, Rob. I am with my co-host, Justin Lowe. We are waiting for Seamus and Ian to join us, but the Boston Celtics drop yet another loss to the Washington Wizards at home. The struggle continues at home as we fall 116 to 107. Justin, obviously there's a lot to take away from this game. Celtics really struggled in the first half. Jaylen Brown played arguably probably his easily worst game of the season. Marcus Smart really struggled. Tatum had a rocky first half. There were some positives we could take. Robert Williams continues to be great. Al Horford continues to be great.
Dennis
Schroeder was great off the bench. Parker played some solid minutes. Josh Richardson continues to struggle. We're going to get all into it. Guys, in the comments, I want you guys to drop your thoughts on tonight's loss. Who's to blame? That's the big question. Great comment here is you can't lose when Bradley Beal goes 7 for 25. You really can't. I look at this box score. Dinwiddie, 22. Montrezl Harrell, 25. Kuzma, 12. Caldwell Pope, 11.
Don't talk about Kuzma. I can't believe we just let Kuzma walk in and beat us.
Something I want to talk about is Marcus Smart and Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder continues to prove that, he's the go-to guard. 23 points tonight, or 22 points tonight, 23 points in the last outing. You got to raise the question is whether or not, when is Udoka going to go to, Schroeder instead of Smart? I get it. Smart's a great defender. He really is a guy that you can rely on for the Celtics, but he hasn't been there so far this season.
I just don't know what that does to the bench. I think that just defeats the purpose of depth because Marcus Smart isn't a scorer, and what we lacked is scoring off the bench. I mean, look at how important. I know what you're saying, and I can, I see both sides of it. Like Marcus Smart has struggled. It just seems to me, what's weird about Marcus Smart, Rob, is when he stands there, sets his feet, he's wide open, and he pulls it from 3 or wherever he is, he can't hit it. But if it's a circus shot for some dumb reason, it goes in. I don't know what to say right now because I'll admit it. The over/under numbers, could have been outrageous. 25 assists, 30 first quarter points, and 35 from Tatum. But at the same time, it was. I don't think they were because we expected a big effort. I mean, we got absolutely smacked against Toronto on our home court. And then we got absolutely smacked. I don't care if we lost by 9. We got smacked around tonight. The Celtics trailed by 10 to 15 points the majority of the night. Every time the Celtics would cut it down to 2, it seemed as if the momentum, instead of going to Boston, went to Washington. And we got beat at home, and we're 0-2, and home court advantage doesn't seem to be real right now.
So that's for sure. Boston Celtics have continued to struggle at home, but a positive I want to point out on tonight's game, and you might be thinking, how can you find a positive out of this game? I look at the scoreboard and I see the supporting cast continuing to do their job. Schroeder 22, Horford 16, Williams 13, right? Grant gave you 7, Grant gave you 6, Jabari gave you 7. Like I said, Richardson, we got to find a way to get him involved. However, you got to think, right? Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum aren't going to do 23 and 13, right? You got to think that. So, although we're early, you got to think that, it was a tough loss, a really tough loss at home, a game you just don't want to lose, right? But
there are positives. You're right. There's
some positives, right? Schroeder looks great. And, it's a shame because I posted on the Celtics Talk Weekly Instagram. If you're not following, go follow us. This whole Jayson Tatum, he doesn't get the call he wants. He completely shuts down. That is the reasoning for a 10-point what dug us into a hole. The Celtics, I could say, outplayed the Wizards at good amount of the time in the second half, right? But at the end of the day, we had to fucking, excuse my language. I don't swear usually, but we had to dig ourselves out of a hole because Jayson Tatum and I can say Jaylen Brown's body language was bad. They didn't attack the hoop well. They were complaining about foul calls, and it was just an overall disaster.
Well, I don't know. You mentioned Jaylen Brown. I don't know if anybody noticed, but he looked pretty hobbled out there, especially in the
Yep.
second half tonight. I
Mm.
know he had that one dunk. I don't remember who he went up against, or he didn't have the dunk. It was Montrezl Harrell, now that I remember. And he came down kind of awkwardly on that right knee. And I'm not so certain that, Jaylen the other day, he said his knee issues weren't chronic, but I don't know.
I
Well,
don't know.
he had collided with Gafford too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't
I
him and
don't.
Gafford also
I,
collide?
I don't know because he's coming off of a 30-point night. I wouldn't say his struggles was any explosive. I feel like.
If anything, it felt like his struggles came in the beginning of the game because in the fourth quarter he started to hit some shots. But nonetheless, I mean, a big key to the game tonight and in all 5 games of the season has been get off to a good early start. The Celtics did just opposite of that. The over-under was 30 first quarter points. I thought that was decent. I didn't think that was a lot to ask for. We ended up with 19 first quarter points. By the way, none of us got that correct.
Well,
what?
y'all got it correct.
Oh no! You got. Oh no! I was.
We all got it
okay,
right.
That
You
wasn't
got it
the
wrong.
person. No. Okay, we're talking about the team assist.
Like, wait a minute.
Relax. Now.
Oh,
Relax.
team assist.
It wasn't
Okay.
that wasn't that funny. It was. Are we done? It was 25 team assists that we all got wrong. I got the 30 first quarter points wrong, which I didn't think that was too bad at all.
No, totally not.
19 points. That's horrific. And on top of that, so we thought, okay, whatever, slow start. Then on top of that, didn't Washington come out and go on a run, and they were up 33-19 in the second quarter. I don't understand the Celtics right now and their problems, especially at home.
Honestly, I honestly and truthfully think it was a team effort to lose this game tonight. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Are we going to do this thing again where the team is good one game, they suck the next game? Is this going to be what it is again?
But
the most painful way to lose, too.
I know.
My thing is, I have a question. I wouldn't say this was the team playing bad. I would say this is Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown just not playing well. Because if you look at, Williams had 13 and 11 with 4 blocks. Horford had 16 and 11. Schroeder had 22.
Horford's not washed, by the way. People think
Horford's
washed.
But
really not.
My thing is that
like the one
this wasn't a loss that was a bad Celtics basketball game, right? I think offense, the rebounds, we let Montrezl Harrell beat us up for way too much for way too long. We kind of fixed that in the second half, but I don't think this was a loss that I could say was a team effort. I can't put the blame on Schroeder or Williams or Horford or either Williams or Jabari Parker. Yeah, I can't. This loss goes directly to Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. No one else. And we've seen that consistently through the season. I feel like all 3 losses has been no one other than Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I mean, maybe that Raptors game we all kind of played bad, but like that's what I feel like at the end of the day. These 2 guys last year absolutely balled out and couldn't get the help they needed. Now the help's here. The help's arrived, right? There's no more excuses. You got a coach that's willing to back you up. You got a supporting cast that is backing you up. So now it's time to – someone said in the comments here, Tatum has to rise to his expectations. And I think it's plain and simple what it is. Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown have to figure it out.
Yeah,
I mean
– go ahead, Ian.
No, you good. No, you good.
All right. I'm looking at the box score here. I'm looking at the box score here, and I'm trying to find a route out of blaming Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but there really isn't one at all. Like, you look at the whole supporting cast, Josh Richardson didn't take a shot, but I thought he was fairly good on defense. Maybe, in the first half he was a little, on Beal. He wasn't too great. And then Dennis Schroeder was great tonight, 6 of 15, not too impressive, but 22 points, 6 assists. You love that. Al Horford, obviously, another double-double, just a double-double machine at this point. And then, the rest of the bench, I thought Marcus Smart, especially defensively tonight. I know he was 1 of 7, 1 of 5 from 3, and that continues to be an issue for Smart. But I thought Smart was great defensively tonight. And quite honestly, I thought the problems with the Celtics tonight fell upon Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum not facilitating for others, specifically Jayson Tatum. You saw he started the game. He was doing the same I'm bullying my way to the rim, using my shoulders, putting my shoulders down, not looking at anyone. I'm putting the blinders on, and that cannot fly in this offense when he has options open on the outside. It's really, really frustrating to see. The Celtics, I thought, were executing their offense well, yet they weren't hitting the last pass for a good shot. And that was the entire difference in the entire game. When they were coming back in the game, that's when you saw them executing their offense and playing good defense, specifically bringing their energy. But for most of the game, for 50% of the game, if not 60% of the game, that was not happening. You can't just win ball games like that, especially not against a Wizards team who actually brought their A game tonight.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I think the biggest problem I have with Tatum right now is that, like, I don't know, like, is he even, like, there? Like, it just feels like he's not, like, connected.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
It's whenever something goes wrong, he shuts down.
Exactly. Like, I was literally talking about that. Yeah. Like, he doesn't get one foul call, and, like, I mean, I don't mean to sound completely rude, but, like, he just starts acting like a little kid. Like, I mean, he just, like, complains about everything, and he even got teed up in this game. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, we saw him get teed up in a preseason game, for God's sakes. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what Tatum...
Their free throw shooting, both of them seems to regress.
Bro, oh my God.
Big time.
Did Tatum just forget how to shoot free throws over the offseason?
Tatum and Brown. I think they both have regressed tremendously. Free throw shooting. Brown has never been a great free throw shooter, but I mean, these guys hit all these types of. I mean, Brown hit a near half-court shot contested against the Knicks and then comes down here and misses free throws. And then Jayson Tatum missed 2 in a row tonight. Celtics need those buckets. You know, there were multiple times where they cut the lead down to 2. There were multiple times in the fourth quarter Celtics actually took a 1 to 2 point lead. And you got to execute from the free throw line. I don't care, especially if you're Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That's, you know, especially Tatum, that's a staple. Jayson Tatum, when he gets to the free throw line, it's very rare he misses free throws.
It's really frustrating because, like I said, I can't stress it enough. When you are getting the help that you need, when you, I mean, look at the box score. When Schroeder gives you 22, Horford gives you 16, and Williams gives you 13, you should win the game. And enough of this I'm done. Like I said, this season I'm done with it. Enough making excuses on Celtics lost. It's on Jayson Tatum now. It's on Jaylen Brown. It's on these two guys. It's no more Brad Stevens. It's no more, you know, they don't have the help. It's no more Kemba Walker wasn't playing. There were injuries, this and that. The excuses are done. The excuses are done. I think it really shows these two's true colors right now. What was it Mike Gorman said this last season? Can these guys really be leaders? Is that the question we have to ask? Can we really do it with these two guys?
Or are they too young to be leaders right now? I mean, they are 25 and 23 still. I mean,
that body language I saw to Jayson Tatum was completely unacceptable. I get it. Jaylen Brown, you have a bad game shooting-wise. That happens, right? Jayson Tatum has had a bad game this year shooting-wise. But Jayson Tatum's body language is unacceptable. If someone has to say something to him, it has to happen.
Yeah,
Ime Udoka has a.
Go ahead, Ian. Go ahead.
No, sorry. We keep interrupting each other. We both have something we want to say at the same time, but you can go. You were starting a rant there, so.
Well, I was going to say the most frustrating part about this Jayson Tatum body language is the fact that he knows he's doing it because someone asks him about it in every single press conference, and he responds like, I can't let my emotions get the best of me during the game. I gotta be better. And it's the same answer every single time, and nothing changes. It's like, when are we gonna see this improvement? When are we gonna see you not throw your hands up at the refs every time you don't get a call? It's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know.
It's like I said, in a game where you get the help. I mean, defense. I mean, to hold a team in a 116, you can win a game like that, right? In my opinion, obviously, defensively, when you Bradley Beal shoots 7 for 25, 28%, you win that game. You should win that game, no question about it. I think they got bullied. The bench got outplayed completely. I mean, what was the bench score? We got. Let me. If I can do
52 to something.
Yeah, I mean,
it was like 52 to 35, I think.
Oh,
51 to 35. Sorry.
Still horrendous, man. Wow. Look at this too. We Bradley Beal, 17 points tonight, 7 of 25. as a defense, you'd love to see that stat line out of Bradley Beal if you're facing him every night. But then you look at Montrezl Harrell, my personal favorite non-Celtic, but he absolutely destroyed us tonight. 25 points, 11 rebounds, 10 of 13 shooting, 5 of 7 from the free throw line. Those are legitimately all-star numbers.
Yeah. This is a little bit of a concerning quote that Udoka came out with. It says, our intensity and focus wasn't there from the start. It was like this at shoot-around, and I got on the guys for it then, and then it carried over into the game.
Yeah. Well said.
It's a little bit of concerning quote.
And you know what? You know who's responsible for that? Or is the two best players? The two best players on the team, they set the tone for the game, right? I'm looking at a stat right here. I just had the stat. What was I looking at? Oh, okay. I'm looking at the stats right here, right? What did we say this offseason? What did we say about these two kids? We said they need to learn how to play make. If it's not going on offense, what are you going to contribute to the game that's positive? Jaylen Brown, 1 assist. Jayson Tatum, 2 assists. Jaylen Brown, -8, plus minus. Jayson Tatum, -8. So you mean to tell me we're worse when these two guys are on the court?
Tonight we were.
Plus minus wise, I mean, everybody was a minus except for Marcus Smart, +3.
And he shot ironic, to be honest.
Of course. He's another one. What, Jaylen was the only plus the other night against who? The Raptors, and he shot 2 of 13 that game. Another one of those situations.
I don't know. Can we talk about Smart? No, Pritchard didn't play. Nesmith didn't play. Hernan Gomez didn't play.
If you're lacking energy, why not bring those guys in? Why not? They're young.
Especially a guy. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Nesmith fan, but especially Nesmith who brings the energy. I mean, first and foremost, I thought the Celtics should have went with Jabari Parker in the second half. With all due respect, Grant Williams has had a great season so far, and he I think maybe a better defensive matchup than Jabari Parker, but I don't know about you guys, but Jabari looks very fluent. His jump shot, nothing but net, very athletic, gets to the hoop easily. I'm surprised we didn't see a lot more of him in the second half.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he kind of got burned on defense a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe that was the reason why they didn't put Jabari in the second half, was because they were just kind of targeting him on... the Wizards were targeting him when it came to defense, but I don't know, man. I don't know. What else do we say about this team? And I was thinking about it, as I was watching the game, I'm like, what is the team going to be this season? Are we going to be world beaters? Are we going to be a lottery team? Are we going to be a team that's just inconsistent all season? What are we going to do? What do we set our expectations at?
I think the expectations haven't changed. Yes, we're 2-3, right? We didn't get off to the best start, right? We're not. But like I said, you don't look at this game and you say, wow, the Celtics played bad. The team played bad, like you did last year. When you watched last year's games, you said, wow, the team played bad. No, right? Dennis, right? Am I wrong?
No.
Dennis
Schroeder. I'm laughing because
Dennis Schroeder played his damn heart out, right? Marcus Smart, offensively it wasn't there, but every single play was in Bradley Beal's face. Horford gave us 16 and 11. Robert Williams gave us 4 blocks. It's not this team anymore. It's Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, right? It's that simple. It's the Boston Celtics have a good team. They have a very, very deep, good, defensive-minded team, right? But Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum cannot seem to figure it out.
Yeah, and the expectations for this team, I think they're going to be set after about 20 or so games, because we've seen in the past, my first season covering the team started 12 of 12, ended up being the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, 53-29. That can happen, but that was a special team. This team, they haven't named captains yet. I don't know if they have that kind of leadership. I don't know if they have that kind of want to win like the 16-17 Celtics with Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder and Avery Bradley, and I'm not going to name every guy on that team. But those guys were special, and this team, they need to figure out themselves before they seriously collapse, because last season, after a while, it was just back and forth. We'd win one, we'd lose one. We'd win one, we'd lose one. And after a while, you just knew who the team was. at this point, I don't think we're going to be that team again, but I don't know if we're contenders. We might be the 6th seed, but we also might be the 2 seed still. I don't know where expectations range even after this start. We look bad right now, but we do have to remind ourselves we're only 5 games into the season.
Well, that's something Rob and I talked about, and we kind of both made like not like a commitment to each other, but like, like we saw the Celtics go 8-3 last year and have one of their worst seasons they've had in a long, long time. And, that was after 11 games, Celtics at the top of the Eastern Conference, 8-3. They looked awesome. They beat teams like Milwaukee early on. And 2-3, 5 games in, I'm not going to overreact. Jayson and Jaylen look, we saw what they can look like when they're both on. We saw what they looked like in the road trip. We saw, what Jaylen Brown looked like in the New York game. Hopefully this was just an off night, but it's a little alarming to me. Again, that quote by Ime Udoka where this was an all-day thing. It wasn't just a 48-minute thing tonight. It traveled in practice this morning. Then it traveled till the final buzzer tonight's game, and it showed.
And why
do you think we're not?
Go ahead, Ian. Yeah, I just said what I said, but yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I was just like, do you think we're like not taking the opponent seriously? Because like we watched that Raptors game, we all thought, we all thought it was gonna be an easy win. It wasn't an easy win. We play the Wizards tonight, and like we think it's gonna be a somewhat easy win, and
I didn't think it was going to be an easy win, only because I just had high expectations tonight because I didn't think it'd be an easy win. But again, 25 a team assist, 30 points in the first quarter, and Tatum 35. Celtics got smacked by 32. They got booed off their home court. Ime Udoka says we're using that. They got booed again tonight. They got booed multiple times tonight. Then I'm talking about the first game against the Raptors too. Ime Udoka said, we're going to use this as fuel. You lost to the Wizards. You were down by as much as 18.
I said, it's. I can't blame anyone else. I can't. I'll be a broken record for the next until I see a steady 10 games of Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum playing well. It's getting to a point where Brad Stevens now, right? If this goes on for a half a season, it's deadline, and we're still seeing these two really being the source of the problem. Brad Stevens now is going to have to sit down and think, am I going to have to move one of these guys?
Oh, I love the fact Brad Stevens is still on this team.
Right? Like it's going to have to be one of these two guys going to have to go, because clearly, right, through the first small sample size we have, right? Small, it could change in a click. It could go north or it could go south, right? It's still early. But from what we've seen, you have to think might have to think these two might not be the guys that we thought they were to lead a team, right? They might not be.
Yeah, this is all a question of fit at this point, because both of these guys are going to be perennial all-stars, but do they fit alongside one another? They play the same exact position, the same exact role on a team. And, you could say you could stagger those guys, but in the playoffs, when they're both playing 45 minutes a game, there's not much staggering out there. And I thought about this earlier during the game as well. When does the time come, and what does a deal look like for even one of these two guys? Because that's not even a thought that has even occurred to us until now. I mean, obviously to more, impatient fans last year, but up to this point, we're still 5 games in. It's probably no reaction to think about this right now, but I just can't imagine what kind of package we could get for either one of those guys. And in my mind, in the end, yeah, if we could get multiple assets for one player and build around one of those two guys, that's probably better than these two next to each other. And
yeah, I mean, maybe the Bradley Beal for Jaylen Brown trade or the Damian Lillard for Jaylen Brown trade really isn't that bad, because maybe Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum can't get it done together, and it's a question you're going to have to look, a serious question that you're going to have to look at now, because, like we said, if your supporting cast is doing what these guys are doing, there should be no excuse. We should have won this game by 20. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If this is how the supporting cast is going to support your star players, you should win this by 20. No, on your home court, on a 2-game win streak, right? Schroeder gives you do I have to say it again? Do I have to freaking say it again?
Yeah,
is it the Garden's fault?
The most baffling part is that it's at home. Like, this is the Garden. This is the TD Garden. The team used to come back to this place and feel amazing because they got, oh, yeah, great, we're coming home to the home crowd. We're going to get this easy win, feed off the energy, walk out of here. Bam.
It's like
it's not like that.
It's like the new Gillette Stadium, for Christ's sake.
Every time we go and play at the Garden.
Gillette Stadium and TD Garden, people used to be scared to play in there. Now they're just walking in here thinking it's a cakewalk.
Exactly. And is that because of our fan base? Have we changed? Have we changed our tone towards the team? Because, we had the whole Isaiah generation, we had the Kyrie generation, and both of those generation of teams had expectations of championships. They didn't come, and obviously we know about Boston. It's a title. There's title town on my back right here, man.
I have a controversial Ime Udoka quote that just came out. Ime Udoka said the contrast between Jaylen Brown on some nights versus him in other certain games is mind-boggling. And then this is from the insiders. The insider says, "Don't think it's a good idea to call out your second best player just 5 games into a coaching career."
Wait.
So he called.
So Ime Udoka said the contrast between Jaylen Brown on some nights versus him in certain other games is mind-boggling.
What about Jayson Tatum?
Yeah, why isn't he calling out Tatum?
Are we just going to ignore the fact that Jayson Tatum puts in 0 effort on the defensive end and he doesn't hustle back after he misses a shot and he complains about every call? And
but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Last season with 2018.
Hold on. Here's the thing. This is something I want to say. This is something I want to say, right?
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. Right. We knew that Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum were kind of childish.
Redundant.
Right? They're kind of childish, right? And I think Brad Stevens, like I said, Brad Stevens was a phenomenal game plan coach, right? Beautiful plays, had a beautiful scheme, right? Really got the best out of each player. Udoka's different, right? We don't know his scheme too well. We don't really know his game plan, right? What I think Udoka needs to do is I always think he needs to have a sit-down conversation with these two guys and really dig into them. What's the best way to grow, right? The best way to grow is to almost just get a slap in the face of reality, right?
Steroids.
Barry Bonds at Alex Rodriguez.
Oh god!
I know steroids will just make them bigger, and we can't afford having more of those freaking pictures come out that hype us up, thinking that they're going to be freaking middle linebackers on the court, and they just end up sucking.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
This is
what do you even say?
Completely fake right now. Oh my!
What do you even say, man? I mean, I don't know.
I'm not blaming the refs at all because the Celtics kind of lost this game from the tip. But did you guys see that double block on Horford and they called it a foul?
Yeah, refs weren't great.
Yeah.
You really
I actually thought they were somewhat decent until there was a couple plays down the stretch where I didn't like, but I thought they were somewhat decent.
They let Dinwiddie away with the travel at the end of the game.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they had a decent game refereeing all game, and then when they got into the clutch for both teams, it was just horrid.
Yeah, but you can't blame the refs for how bad the Celtics played in this game.
That's exactly what I just said. The Celtics lost this game from the tip, but there was a few plays down the stretch where momentum switched. We now have the same damn record as the Toronto Raptors, and that's not acceptable.
Well, we are still 5 games. We're only 5 games into the season.
I know.
If this is continuing game 20, it's going to be bad. However, what we've seen so far is a little bit concerning because we're seeing a lot of the same concerns that we had last year outside of the bench, which last year, the reason that team was 500, their depth on most nights was 0. We were playing Shimi Ojale and Grant Williams, who was terrible last year on most nights. This year, we have the depth, and now our superstars who on some nights didn't step up last year, again, aren't stepping up this year, and the team, their energy, it just goes like this. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and that is not a way to gain cohesiveness and gain consistency and just be a winning basketball team. Winning basketball teams don't go up and down like that. They're consistent.
I know our bench depth is a lot better than last year, and I know Pritchard hasn't been having his best start to the regular season, but how weird was it to see Pritchard sit, like not play a minute, and he was eligible to play?
I'm fine with it.
No, I'm not saying if you're fine. I'm just saying, like, how weird was that? Like, we've seen Pritchard in almost every single game. It's been so. It was kind of weird to see him just coach's decision did not play. There was a lot of those on the list tonight.
I don't know, man. I mean, what do we say that we haven't said already, like, left about the team outside of, and like, I mean, it's hard to think about that now. We're at a point where, like, I mean, Rob is right. We do have to now somewhat look at Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown as the reason why we lose these games or win these games, because we can't blame the bench anymore and we can't blame Brad Stevens anymore. But like, I don't know what else we say outside of, like, what else do we say outside
Tatum
of the
Brown,
team is what the team is right now? It's Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum's fault we lost this game, and I don't know. Hopefully they can bounce back and beat them on Saturday.
And I think the real problem is that they just had a game where they scored 41 and 30.
That's the most annoying part of it.
It really should be unacceptable. These games are unacceptable. They really are. I'm sorry. Like you can't, like, you guys are, these two guys are too good to be doing this. Like, you just cannot do that. Like, you can't. Like, it's not acceptable anymore. You can't do that.
Also, like, I mean, how hard is, like, I don't know how hard it is. I'm not an NBA player, so I don't know how hard it is to transition to these new foul rules. But, like, if you're not getting the call through the first, like, the preseason and now the regular season starting, why do you keep trying to look for the same calls that you haven't been getting all season yet? Like, I mean, that's the maddening part about this. Like, these guys, they just, like,
they're not going to change it. Like, if you're arguing, like,
they weren't even getting those calls last year. Is actually
exactly
part. Like, they changed the rules and they're still complaining about it.
Like, they're trying to, like they're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Like,
is that the definition of insanity?
Yeah.
Yes, this team is insanity. This team drives everyone insane.
This was the perfect example of insanity tonight because, as Justin said earlier, every single time we thought the team was going to come back, there were multiple 7-0, 8-0, 9-0 runs by the Celtics in this game, only for it to be completely squandered by a Wizards run following right afterwards. And I don't even know. I don't know where this team goes because, quite honestly, like, after tonight, I don't want to overreact and say, like, this is what we're going to see all season. But what we're seeing right now, again, is exactly what we saw last season outside of the depth problem. And, oh, my Lord.
Oh, my Zeus.
Maddening.
It's like I said, there's a lot of positives to get out of this game. I mean, the supporting cast played great in my opinion. Yeah, defensively, I think Schroeder got exposed. I think he's a small guard against a big Spencer Dinwiddie. That's a tough matchup. I get it. I mean, Dinwiddie only had 22. I mean, he matched him in points, so offensively, he really made up for some defensive errors that you really can't blame him for, in my opinion. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's whether or not this season rides on the shoulders of Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. It's really nothing other than that. If that's how these guys are going to play, if the support cast is going to play, then we should have no problem making a run at the Eastern Conference Finals. It's whether or not Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum will take you there. And that's something that we did not think was going to be a problem. But through 5 games, it's something you're going to have to start to think about that maybe it is a problem. Maybe they're not as good as everyone thought they are.
Yeah, and the
Celtics, like I said, it's all maybe.
And the Celtics have never... we always like to say, well, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum have been in 3 Eastern Conference Finals together and whatnot, but they have not made the conference finals in this state. Jaylen Brown was more of this stand-in-the-corner, off-ball wing when they were making the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, Jaylen Brown, he's supposed to be a superstar with the ball in his hands. That's his role alongside Jayson Tatum. So despite the narrative of these guys, well, they've done it before, well, no, they haven't done it before in this role, and that to me is also just that is one of the number one facts that points to this duo being slightly concerning. I do have hope for them moving forward, but the results are just
I mean,
just not.
You got to take the positives away. And what are the positives? The positives is, I look at the stats, I look at the score sheet, and we only had 13 turnovers. That's not terrible. It's not the best, but it's relatively solid. It's decent. I look at another thing, another solid, in my opinion, a stat line is, we shot 43% from the floor. Not awful. We took 28 free throws, which is actually pretty good. We missed 5. That's a negative, but I don't think you look at this game. If you take out Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, you look at this game, and you're like, wow, the Celtics played a solid, all around game. But like, what did we say in the pregame show? This could easily be a game where Schroeder has 16 and Horford has 16 and Williams had 13. That happened, but the 2 best players on the team imploded emotionally.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not this is just like a completely different topic, but do you think the spacing with Al Horford and Robert Williams on the floor together is a little bit of an issue?
I don't think so at all, because they both played well. I don't know. I can't say that's an issue. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
With who?
I don't know. Scal was talking about that over. I don't know. Scal was talking about it in his post-game show, so I don't know. I was wondering what you guys thought about that.
It's probably more of a spacing issue against other teams tonight. I wouldn't say it's that much of an issue just because of the personnel that the Wizards have. They're kind of small, and you can throw Horford out there with smaller lineups just because of his versatility and ability to pass the ball from many different points on the floor. Different matchups, I would say yes, that double big lineups are always going to give you some spacing problems, but tonight I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't saying that it was. I was just saying that's just what Scal said in his post game. So I don't know what you guys thought about that. Anyway, so I don't know. Where do we go from here? I guess that's the next question.
I think I should probably stop guaranteeing wins for the time being.
Yeah, you gotta take a break on that one.
I think I should maybe stop with that one, especially at home.
Someone on my live stream even said, like, dang, this is Seamus's fault because he guaranteed a win.
I know. I'm 0-2 now. This is concerning. That's an actual hurt. You gotta lay off.
That's actually a good question, Ian, because you gotta think, if you look at let's take a look ahead of the next 5 games the Boston Celtics have, right? Obviously Saturday night, or Saturday, right around 5:00 mid-afternoon, we traveled back to Washington to get a rematch, right? If the Celtics have any fight in them, they will come out and blow this team out. If they have any fight in them, that will be the telltale sign, because I'll tell you what, Montrezl Harrell came into the TD Garden and disrespected us. So that's one.
Shushed the crowd about 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that didn't fire you up enough?
Then we come back home to play the Chicago Bulls, the red-hot Chicago Bulls, right, back at the TD Garden. Then we play the Magic back on the road. We got Miami, and then we got Dallas. So our next 5 games are not easy.
Well, look at the schedule also for the Wizards. We have 2 days off before that Wizards game. They have to play the Hawks on Friday in between them. So they're going Celtics, Hawks, Celtics. We're going Wizards, Wizards. That's all the more reason we should totally blow them out on Saturday. I don't think we will after what we saw tonight. And we've always had trouble with the Wizards in the past, as we saw last season, and even the season before when Ish Smith blew us up. I'm not going to guarantee that we come in there and win, but oh my Lord, if we don't at least show some competitive fire, that's really concerning.
If it makes anyone feel better, the Oklahoma City Thunder did beat the Lakers tonight.
Lol.
Well, no LeBron.
No LeBron. And I mean, the Brooklyn Nets lost, but guess who it was? It was against the Miami Heat, so I don't really know.
Well, I'm interested.
The Bucks got blown out by the Timberwolves too. Or they're getting blown out.
I like that. I don't mind the Bucks though. I have a lot of respect for the Bucks compared to the Nets.
Timberwolves won 113-108. So
up against the Bulls, I think, because that's really our first game. I mean, the Knicks was a competitive game. Came down to the wire. I think it's interesting to see how this team matches up against the top dogs in the East now. Because, like I said, our 3 losses, 2 out of the 3 were to the Raptors, and the Raptors
Your mic keeps cutting out, Rob.
Like bad.
How about now? Is it better? We good?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we dropped 2 out of 3 games to the Raptors, who their fan base is almost as bad as their team, and the Wizards, who you think of the Wizards and you don't necessarily think of a playoff team, maybe a play-in team. Bradley Beal's great, but he played awful.
Jesus, Rob's just coming at everyone's neck right now.
And you look at Chicago and
canceled in Canada.
They're gonna block us like they blocked that.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go to Canada anyway. It's a shitty country.
Jesus, Rob. You're trying to get us into like international trouble now.
Dude, what the hell? You got us suspended the other night, and now you're gonna.
I'm obviously just
disrespect an entire country of people.
I'll save us.
All right.
I don't have anything Canadian. Let me run up to the fridge.
It's
with us, country of Canada, please.
It's going to be interesting to see how we play against.
You cannot let Rob in, but we'll come in.
Really?
Yeah. I'll like when we came. Remember when the Celtics played them on Christmas Day? Remember how good of a game that was? Jaylen Brown exploded.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Doesn't sound like you remember
those games on November 10th because that was my other guarantee.
Who? Oh yeah, that's right. That could still be a guarantee. Because if that's listen, if that's your guarantee and you get it right, like that's like perfect. Your only guarantee is against the Toronto Raptors. Like that's golden. Keep that. And if we lose, screw it. We lose. We're better off than them. We'll be fine. Man. I love Canada, by the way. I'll sing the song right now if you want me to, just to show how much I love Canada. Because after that comment from Rob, I don't know.
Well, he didn't say anything about Canada. It was actually no, he did. You called him.
He did say Canada was a
country. He came back.
He said it. At least he admitted. You're honest. You're not
like. What are we like? What was Canada gonna do? Like what? No.
Gonna block us.
Celtics Talk Weekly. I
don't want their views. Quite frankly. But like I said, Boston Celtics drop game 2. The Washington Wizards won 116-107. They fall to 2-3. Their next game is Saturday at 5:00. I want to say against the Washington Wizards again on their home court. We'll be covering pre and post game back on this channel, Celtics Talk Weekly. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Go listen to our podcast. Trending in Canada.
See, I told you, Rob.
Seamus, Ian, and we are out. Go Celtics.